Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of Monday Night Raw, Smackdown, and or PLEs. And if they bring back WCW Worldwide, I'll do hot takes for that too. All right, let's get started with TTJC. We are about to see Jimmy's greatest fear come true. The reason he originally betrayed Jey was because he was afraid of Jey becoming like Roman. Or worse, dun dun dun, Kid Wilkes saying Jimmy should have super kicked Roman. Oh man, what if he had? Sky, Wonder Wolf. It looks like Jimmy is gonna be a problem for Jey and Roman. Oh no, Jimmy, no, don't be a problem. Let's see what else we got. Mr. T Live says, looks like Jey turns coming soon, and I'm fully here for it. I love the dynamic of the relationship between the brothers and Roman. It's about to get oozy. Mr. Pete 99, Reigns returns more than he wrestles at this point. Laughing face emoji. You're not wrong. If Reigns leaves for a cup of coffee, they'll bill it as a huge return when he comes back. And Money on Repeat says, bring back the Bloodline faction. Triple H books everything else with short memory. Figure out how to make it happen and add Jacob Fatu into the mix. Well, what do you boys, what do you gals think? Should we bring it back? Should we run it back, but this time with Jey Uso as the tribal chief? I think we should, but I'm hesitant. The last time we got a Bloodline reunion, it lasted about 4 weeks, and then we brought CM Punk, and I'm a CM Punk fan, but CM Punk greatly overshadowed the reunion of the Bloodline to the point that when it was done, War Games was done, everybody just went off on their own and they never came back together and nobody cared because it was all about what was the favor. And I'm like, dude, we just had the Bloodline, a Bloodline reunion, and why is everybody away from each other now? and nobody ever spoke of it again. And I'm just like, I don't want the Bloodline to come together if it's just Triple H throwing Hail Marys. He just wants a shock. Now, I am going to say, I do like how there is a slow burn, a slow build right now to Jey becoming the tribal chief and Jimmy actually just being like, uh-oh, and not wanting all of this to happen and becoming the new Jey of this dynamic, because Jey was the one that was like, no, we can't, Roman, you're wrong here. Don't do this, Roman. And now Jimmy is kind of saying that to Jey. So I do like this. And the slow burn, the slow build, the story elements of the original Bloodline, that's what made it so good. Every detail mattered. And I'm just worried that we're now in a landscape where Triple H doesn't seem to value details anymore. And he just plows forward no matter what, and then forgets and drops storylines just like that quick. I'm not saying that it's all Triple H's fault. I do recognize that it's probably a lot has to do with TKO. TKO just saying, all right, out of nowhere saying, we've got a new PLE. I want you to make it as big as WrestleMania. WrestlePalooza, go! And so Triple H just forced on a dime to make a left turn, and that does probably get in the way of his bookie. That said, the problem remains. And so I'm a little worried that if we reunite the Bloodline, that the story, that that if they come back together, it's going to be like the NWO. The NWO was one of the biggest factions, one of the greatest factions of all time. But the way it ended was embarrassing. I don't want the NWO red and black versus the black and white, where the black and white becomes the complete B team. I don't want Jey Uso to reform the Bloodline and be like, okay, Solo, you can be my Bloodline on Smackdown, right? And then they're the jobbers of the Bloodline. It's like, I don't know how to do this. I do want it, though. I will say I do want it. And I love Jey's character right now. absolutely love it. I have not been this invested in Jey Uso since since the last time he went up against Roman Reigns. So what? 2023 SummerSlam. You know, maybe about 6 months after that. But yeah, Jey Uso just as a pure baby face. It doesn't fully work. But Tribal Chief Jey Uso, that's a whole different story. And you see, he can still get his yeets in. Yeah, maybe the yeets won't be like as huge, but I'm sure the money will still be coming in. And hey, you know what? Roman Reigns, I think, did fine with his t-shirts as the Tribal Chief. I think Jey will do fine too. So I guess I would say this. It's all about Paul Heyman. What? Wait, yeah. Paul Heyman has always been actively involved in the Bloodline storyline. I think, I think that if Triple H continues to listen to Paul Heyman, I'm going to trust Paul Heyman. I'm going to trust Paul Heyman in this. Triple H can go do his erratic booking everywhere else, but because of Paul Heyman keeping Triple H centered, and the stroke of Roman Reigns not wanting the bloodline to just fizzle out like the NWO did, maybe it would work. Maybe the stroke of Roman, the brains of Paul Heyman with Triple H, the three of them together can keep the bloodline on track. Yeah, let's do it. Let's freaking do it, because I'm way more invested in Jimmy not wanting to see Jey turn to become Roman than I am at pretty much anything else right now. Pretty much anything else other than Asuka. Asuka's just great right now. But yeah, their storyline is like that's where we should go. Yeah, let's do it. I just hope we don't get a rematch between Jey and Jimmy. Unless we run it back. Who knows? Maybe Jey is a heel can make it work. But woo, that match was bad. But ooh, I'm all for it. Let's reform the bloodline under Jey Uso. I think that's the right call. Let's get Jey to eventually win this world title. And then maybe Sami and Jey can duke it out at WrestleMania. And if Sami wins, he wins the world title, right? But if Jey wins, then Sami has to join him. That would be kind of cool. So we have some reluctant members. And we can bring Solo back into the fold. I mean, obviously, Jacob Fatu needs to get in there. But Jey will have to win the world title, or the undisputed title for that matter. And if you want to win this title right here, or the undisputed title for that matter, all you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification. I'm trying to quit my day job, so at 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away this shiny belt right here, and you can win it in my quest to quit my day job. It's not a toy. Knock, knock, knock. It's a replica. All right, let's get some more hot takes. Number 4 says, love how hard you've been working, Chop. These videos have been fun and enjoyable for me. Thank you. Yeah, I've been producing wrestling content full time, like every day, plus the Patreon and streaming 2 to 3 times a week. I will say that if I'm not full time by January next year, I will probably have to cut back on videos. I'm not going to stop the channel. I don't care. Even if I never hit full time, I'm not going to stop the channel. I love this stuff, but I might have to go down to 4 videos a week. We'll see. I thought I would have to cut down this year, but I was able to figure it out. But next year, I don't know. Once the new year starts, that's when I go through my whole health department season again. So you just gotta change the schedule up. We'll see. But what does that number have to say? Even though I feel that Iyo storyline is cringy, I do like how they gave Iyo a weakness. I felt it was cringy too, but it worked somehow. It did turn a corner for me at some point, and it worked. Hot take 2 is, I'm only invested in the Cody Seth match because I don't know who will win. I really hope they let Seth win. I really do hope they let Seth win, but it's like they almost always let the undisputed champion win. I'm hoping against hope, though. This year's different, but I always get my hopes up for this. It never materializes. I always hope the world champion wins, and they never do. So Yo reacts. Dominic Mysterio beating Rusev on his own was a pleasant surprise. Was 100% expecting the Americanos to show up. I agree. I was expecting them to show up or JD or Finn to just reconsider, but they did it. That was a pleasant surprise. I'm glad. I am glad he did it. I wish they would have changed the finish though. When he threw the belt to Rusev and Rusev caught it and then he falls down like Eddie Guerrero used to do. I think that should have been the finish. I really think that should have been the finish. Instead, the ref was like, nope, 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 caught ya, takes the belt, puts it away, low blow, roll up. I'm tired of roll-ups. Plus, I think the disqualification would make Rusev even more mad. On some level, Rusev is going to be mad, but his character has to respect that Dominic would do anything necessary in order to win because he's hungry, because he's passionate, because he's ruthless, and that's what kind of Rusev is. But if Dominic would have won by just like kind of like trickery, like he tricked the ref thinking that Rusev cheated. Now he's projecting onto Rusev this act of cowardliness. That Rusev would think that the ref would think that Rusev is a coward and that he would need a belt to beat Dominic. So I feel that would make Rusev even more mad. Plus, we get a total callback, homage to Dominic's real father, Eddie Guerrero. I think they had the perfect ending, but they just cooked the pudding a little too long. Donatello Leonardo says, Big Jim needs to be more than a storyline prop. He's too good to just be the middleman in every angle. You're right. You are right. Like Big Jim, I feel like kind of bad for him because he's more talented than Jey. I'm not a Jey hater, but he is. He is. It always goes back to that one thing, that one line that Drew McIntyre one time said to Jimmy. He's like, man, too bad you didn't say yeet first. Because it's like, that's how Jey just propelled up the card. And actually, though, there is evidence that Jimmy said yeet before Jey, at least on WWE TV, but it just got over with Jey because Jey was, Jey actually, if you don't remember how yeet became a thing, Jey and Cody Rhodes had just won the tag team titles and they were drinking. They went to a press conference and Jey was just drunk and he was saying yeet. And it just blew up after that. So, Jimmy Uso, it is a shame. Like the Gunther Jey feud earlier in the year, it only got really super interesting when Gunther destroyed and bloodied up Jimmy Uso. And now here we go again. Jimmy Uso was then the middleman in the Jacob Fatu Solo Sikoa US title hunt. And it's just like, oh, it's the bridesmaid, never the bride, that Jimmy. And yeah, it is a shame. I hope he's more than a prop. But hey, you know what? If Jimmy plays the role of Jey, the right-hand man, in this version of the Bloodline, then who knows? Maybe Jimmy will elevate because this is also what elevated Jey. And Donatello also says, Braun Breaker should be getting mic time every week. The dude is a viral soundbite machine. He absolutely is. The fact that we had New Day, LA Knight, and Braun Breaker not on the microphone tonight, that's borderline criminal. And to top it off, we didn't get Paul Heyman, but that's okay. But what about Becky? Why didn't we get Becky on the mic? We had her backstage and she did great, but I want to see her in the ring cutting promos because she is the best in the world. And that's not just me saying that, that's Sports Illustrated. So yeah, but Braun Breaker definitely he should always get a microphone, and they should always be ready to cut off his microphone because you never know what he's going to say. But that's the best part. Braun Breaker adds some chaos to a very, very polished product, and I just want, I don't know, I just want this, I want some scuffs in my product. DC Mills says, I know Dom's days are numbered with the IC belt, but I'm glad he retained for a bit longer. Dom rules. I look forward to watching that guy lie, cheat, and steal, and kick dudes in the balls for many years to come. He said the D word, and it's just funny when you say it like that. But yeah, you know, I'm torn. I'm torn. Like, I feel like Dominic doesn't need the IC belt, but I definitely like him with it at the same time. Like I said, I just wish he had won just a little differently because I do like the lie, cheat, and steal part of his gimmick now. Chris the Goat says Cody is boring on the mic, and Andy Smurthwaite says, I agree. I don't think it's bad, just very uncreative. He's good as a heel promo, but as a face, he just repeats himself. Right there, I think that is a fair, very, very fair statement from Anthony. He says, I agree that Cody is boring. I don't think it's bad, just very uncreative. So yeah, I think that is a very good way of putting a Cody promo that I've never been able to actually vocalize myself. Cody has good promos, but not very creative. So in the long run, they become bland. And then you also notice when he's repeating himself, because I mean, honestly, the Seth and Cody promo this week was almost a complete repeat of last week. I mean, yeah, they added a couple elements. They got rid of the talk about the watch, and then they just said, but I'm not your friend, or I am your friend, or I thought we were friends. It's like, okay. Like, I got nothing out of it. I got more out of their video package than I did Seth and Cody speaking to each other. Yeah, I think Cody is just uncreative. Now, as a heel promo, though, he is way better. Way better. Tiz Mickey says, I don't know why, but I totally forgot about Roman and was like so shocked when he showed up. Well, I guess mission accomplished then, because they want you to be shocked. They want you to be like, oh my God, get that pop. I will say though that we are now on a year and a half since WrestleMania 40, and the pops aren't as large as they once were, or the surprises weren't, because like that guy said earlier, Roman shows up more than he wrestles nowadays. I understand why. I also understand it's part of his contract, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of weird. Like, this Roman situation is weird, how we have to write him off all the time. Like, if he was so flimsy, paper flimsy when he was champion, I don't even know. It's a rock and a hard place for Triple H. I will admit that it's a rock and a hard place for Triple H booking Roman right now, because you want to use Roman for these big events, but you have to explain why he's gone, and he doesn't just show up every week to get his revenge. So I hope it was a good shock for you. Because I wonder how we're gonna write off Roman next. Alfonso Passion says, I hope we get Dom versus Cena next, even if it's on a Raw. San Diego, though, is hosting Survivor Series, War Games, and that is Dominic Mysterio's. That's the 619, baby. So, it could definitely happen there, but I booked it. I have a video where I booked John Cena's retirement tour. I think it's two videos ago. I have him actually facing Dom in the next Raw. That way, John can become a Grand Slam champion and win the Intercontinental title. I really do hope that happens, but I'll settle for a non-title match even. I just want to see those two fight each other. And if Dominic Mysterio can lie, cheat, and steal his way to a victory, I would totally pop to that. If he got the ref convinced that John Cena hit him with a chair or something, then that would be like the best. If Dom can beat Cena by disqualification, a la Eddie Guerrero, oh, that would be so good. Because John would just be like, he would laugh at it. Goat Buggy says, I changed my mind because now I love the Iyo storyline. Yeah, you know what? I was very hard on it for about 4 weeks. It was like, I remember every week coming and saying, what are we doing? They deserve better than a high school storyline. This is all about whether Asuka's jealous that Iyo has a friend, but I was wrong. I am eating my words. Nom nom. Those are my words. This is me eating. I swallow. I'm digesting my words right now. I'll be right back. Gotta go to the bathroom. I don't know why I took that joke that far, but I'm eating my words. Asuka, Iyo, Rhea, Kairi. Great storyline right there. I give them all props. I love that this is a storyline that doesn't even need a world title. Everybody involved here, great job. Anthony Smarthworth says, Asuka and Bayley have been the highlights of the past 2 weeks. Yeah, Bayley had some development too. Bayley is developing, and it looks like now that all three of her personalities, the Hugger Bailey, the Ding Dong Hello Bailey, and Normal Bailey, I guess, is like, I guess they can all be a face because they've now completely sided with Lyra. They got Lyra, Ding Dong Hello Bailey is the evil version, and she was like, "You idiot, come here, we did it, awesome." So now she's using idiot as an enduring word for Lyra. Lyra's just like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I wouldn't mind a quick little program between Bailey, Lyra versus the Nut Friends on SmackDown for the tag titles. Ultimately, I want the Kabuki Warriors to win those titles, though. Weird, though, that when Bailey's actually in the ring, though, we can't read her mind like we once could a couple weeks ago. Don't know what happened there. I guess I lost my mutant powers. Carmen Montez says, John Cena. No, I disagree. And actually, you changed my mind. WTF Patch says, you asked for a Hante chop. As much as I like Seth's passion and desperation for winning the match against Cody, today's promo just didn't work for me. It is nothing I haven't already heard before. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I love the video montage of Chapter 1 enemies more than the promo itself. Actually, WTF Patch, like, we're on the same page. We are, like, literally on the same page. Their promo was all we really needed because their back and forth, their back and forth was like, it was like last week. I would have rather we given Braun Breaker the microphone tonight than see Seth and Cody do that again. Honestly, it's like, we saw it last week. We don't need to just a repeat. Mr. T Live says, also, why does Seth have on shoulder pads? Did he borrow he says men's jacket. I wonder if he meant women's jacket. I love them both, though, but that jacket took me back to the 80s and 90s. If you lived in that era, you know what I mean. Yeah, shoulder pads were definitely a thing. I mean, honestly, when Seth Rollins, I felt, was dressed a little more on the normal side tonight than anything. because of how crazy he usually dresses, or has in the past at least. iCutie says, I miss those don't try this at home video thingies. It made the product just better somehow. I can't explain how. Yeah, you know what? That's valid. It did. Don't try this at home, kids. They would get all serious. They see Rey Mysterio's just saying how, like, I don't know, just showing that he's injured. Everybody just showing that they're injured. It was like, yeah, you know what? It gave the product some personality, to tell you the truth. It really did. It wasn't like didn't have anything to do with the storyline or anything. It was just another little element, like, ooh, like, this is so dangerous. This is so real. Nicholas Getting says, Iyo should stay aligned with Kairi and Asuka. I'd like to see her heel turn again. Well, we'll see. Maybe it does happen. I think they probably should have had Iyo stay with Asuka for a little longer, maybe at least one PLE cycle. You could have had Iyo versus Rhea with Asuka in her corner. So, like, maybe they should have, like with the end result of Iyo turning on Asuka. I'm not hating this, though. I'm not hating where we're at, but they could have probably just had 1 month or two of Iyo just eating crap from Asuka. Mr. Gray says, I loved Jey's new avatar, but I still don't see him as my next tribal chief. The problem with Jey as the next tribal chief is something I kind of alluded to earlier, in that Jimmy is the better Uso. Love Jey. He does connect with the crowd more, but I worry that if Jey becomes the tribal chief, that he's not as good as Roman in the ring even. He isn't. So, like, I wonder how far he can go. Because Roman had the great character and the great ring ability that could mesh with other people and the smack talk and stuff. So, I think, though, that Jey's the logical choice here, and I'm really hoping that he can step up to the plate. Because when you're a heel, you don't have to do as much. I know a lot of people were crashing down on him earlier in the year about his, like, 3 moves of doom, but as a heel, you can get away with that more, but I don't know how far you can get away with it as the main event heel, the main heel of the company. So, I get where you're coming from, Mr. Gray. I know you like Jey. I know you don't see him as the tribal chief, but heck, at one point, I did not see Roman Reigns as the tribal chief that he became. In 2018, if you would have told me I would fall in love with tribal chief Roman Reigns just 3-4 years later, I would have doubted you. FMJ said, Dragon Lee and those goofy dragon wings give me secondhand embarrassment. There's one thing where the outfit builds off a goofy idea and it works, i.e. Lyra's occasional outfits with wings, but that was just not it. Yeah, I would like to see something to do with these things. I didn't actually mind his dragon wings at the AAA Worlds Collide a couple weeks back, but you're right, they're a little, I don't know if they're necessary for every week on Raw. Jimbo Slice says, I didn't think the Roman and Jey story still had legs, but just like that, I'm back on the Bloodline train. Choo-choo! Roman, I added the choo-choo, don't worry, it wasn't Jimbo Slice. Roman's going to create a monster he can't control. Ha! Roman will be Frankenstein and Jey will be Frankenstein's monster. I'm loving that idea. We got Jimbo Slice also saying Styles was wrestling like his rent was due. That guy is fired up to be facing John Cena. So am I. I cannot wait to see Cena versus AJ Styles. I hate the build. I hate that it was all done on Twitter. I kind of liked it was all done on Twitter when I thought it was just John Cena calling out bad creative. But now that I know that it was bad creative, writing that there was bad creative, the build now is kind of But at the end of the day, AJ versus Cena, yes. Ben P says, Seth coming out looking like a kid dressed as The Undertaker. Well, it is Halloween season. Trick or treat. Help us, Obi-Wan. Oh, help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope. I'm glad I totally read that out loud. Rhea and Iyo segment was overdone. Yeah, I liked it, honestly. I liked it. I liked that we sold the mist as much. Iyo sold it like she was never going to see again. She's like, let me touch your face so I can see who this is. DS has a long comment, but basically says this, I respect you stuff is too much, and I agree. There was, Cody said, I respect you, and then there was a 2-minute segment between Stephanie and Tiffany. The first thing Tiffany said was, I respect you. And then the first thing Stephanie said to Tiffany was, I also respect you, when she had an opportunity to talk. It's geez Louise, just ban the word respect. It is killing the storylines, because there are no storylines. How much respect do we have to have for each other? Carmichael says, down since day one-ish, got chills hearing the Uso Penitentiary theme song again. The Bloodline is back in full swing. Yes, sir. Yeah, I love the Uso Penitentiary. That's my favorite. That was one of my favorite versions of the Usos. Skywalker 3. What happened to Skywalker 2? Did you where's Skywalker 2? Tell me, Skywalker 3. Anyways, someone with a chair greater than the Vision every time. Yeah, why? One chair, one dude can clear out the Vision. They need to do something about that. It's getting a little noticeable. Russell Train says, I guess LA Knight isn't getting his win back against Jey Uso. Yeah, unfortunately, and even more unfortunate, it looks like LA Knight is back in upper mid-card land, because he seems to be completely now taken out of the equation. Mr. Salem Live says, some booking patterns currently are getting stale. The biggest is the staggering of rivals by having one appear one week and the other next week. It is truly drip-feeding storylines. You are absolutely right here. And then Hobbs says, about to get a promo with Seth and Cody, and people are chanting for Punk and Roman. Just weird, man. You're right. Here we got Seth freaking Rollins, main bad guy of Monday Night Raw, and Cody Rhodes, the main face good guy of WWE completely. And people, they more want CM Punk or Roman Reigns. They're not interested in these two. You could argue that they were just trying to get under Seth Rollins' skin, kind of like saying, you tapped out. So they're just saying CM Punk and Roman Reigns, because those are the two guys that are just always on Seth's mind. But I don't know. You're literally in a program with Cody Rhodes, so why not just chant Cody Rhodes? That's more of an indictment to me on Cody than anything, to tell you the truth. I don't know. It's kind of weird. You're right. It's kind of weird. We're old school fans, though. We're old school fans. The new school fan will chant anything. If you showed them a paperclip, they would be like, paperclip, paperclip. This is awesome. This is awesome. Paperclip is awesome. I don't know. That's the new fan. But I guess if you pay $40,000 for a ticket, go ahead and chant for the paperclip. Do whatever you want. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are your hot takes for Monday Night Raw. I appreciate every single one of you, and we'll do a video tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll do yet. I'm thinking of doing a Jade Cargill, not her fault video, but I don't know. Is it too late to do that? I don't know if anybody even watches all the way to the end, but maybe you can answer that question for me in the comments below. Have yourselves a great day.